In today's automotive environment, there's a lot of uncertainty about who will be around next week, next month, or next year. One thing's for sure, Ground Chevrolet will be here to service your automotive needs. The service department and staff are not only factory trained, but you come to know as part of the community. So gladly perform a visual inspection of the vehicle and let you know what needs to be done now or can wait until later. Trust your automotive investment to the people you know and trust at Ground Chevrolet. Call or stop by Ground right now.
It's Ground right now.
The Cheap Seats
Whether you're
live
buying
Saturday
or selling
morning
your
sports
home,
show
the
on
brokers of Me Realty
WLCN
will work with you to get the
96.3
deal
and
done.
streaming online
As one of
at
Central Illinois' top producing offices for
WLCNonline.com.
decades,
Brought to you by
Me Realty has the
Jake's
experience
Furnishings.
to
Make
guide
it
you
your
through
own.
the process.
We strive
You
to
want
give you
results?
hometown
Call the
personal
brokers of
service
Me
at
Realty
very
at
competitive prices.
217-735-5424.
Located at 1100 Woodlawn
Stop by
Road
the
in
office
Lincoln
at
or
602
online
Keokuk Street
at
in Lincoln, or
jakesfurnishings.com.
check out local listings
Furnish
online
your home
at
for less at Jake's.
MeRealty.com.
Eden Corporation, America's choice for top quality, high performance
Culver's is a family
electrical
restaurant.
equipment.
To me, that means being the place that puts a smile on everyone's face. We're famous for our cooked-to-order Butterburgers and frozen custard made daily inside our
producing real
restaurant.
estate
But
agency.
we've always believed
year
more
after
menu
year.
options mean more
Call
ways to brighten your day.
217
We source the finest chicken to bring you our tenders and chicken
54
sandwiches.
or
And our
browse
cheese
listings
curds.
online
They're a Wisconsin
at
tradition we're proud to share with
merealty.com.
you. So take the next meal
Culver's
shift
of
off
Lincoln,
and let us
home-
take care of you. Welcome to Delicious.
Culver's, home of the Butterburger, 2530 Woodlawn Road in Lincoln.
This program is a presentation of WLCN 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com. This live video stream is made possible in part by WLCN's live stream technology sponsor, Me Realty, located at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln and online at merealty.com.
Good morning, sports fans. Welcome to the Cheap Seats on WLCN 96.3 FM, broadcasting live from Copper and Oak. You can listen to us on the go, download the Mixlr app, listen to us on the radio, or watch our live stream on YouTube. And joining us now is Coach Fricky, your Lincoln Community High School head football coach. Good morning, Coach.
How we doing?
We're doing good. It's a victory Saturday. The Railers home opener last night at Hanlon Field. Big win for you guys against Manual. Was it 40-20? Is that correct?
Yep, that's what we finished with.
That's good. Obviously, getting on the new turf, that had to be pretty exciting.
Man.
Good atmosphere. It just looks beautiful.
All of it. The turf, I'm going to be honest, I told Coach Al after the game, I said, that's the nicest turf field. And I've been on a new turf fields before, not just old used ones, brand new fields. The style that they picked with the new beads, it's not rubber pellets like you've traditionally seen. It felt the most grass-like of any turf field I've ever been on. It was awesome. I mean, it's cool. The wait for it, we got on it the night before for the first time. We were kind of panicking, like, is it even going to be ready? But yeah, I mean, the kids were worried about not practicing on it, but at the same time, over the summer we went to Taylorville, Monticello. We were on turf. But yeah, they the whole atmosphere was awesome last night.
That's good.
Oh yeah.
And the turf, the technology in that is improved over the years. So these older fields, now it's improving, and it's good that they went with the updated system. And I haven't been on it yet, but I mean, it looks great.
That's incredible.
And no maintenance. Just you get some rain, and you're not going to be a muddy mess, and kind of keep it fair. But Manual comes in last night for the home opener. We haven't talked to you for quite some time to get how things went over the off season. First year coming in.
Not that we haven't tried.
I might have got a little overwhelmed there for a little bit.
Well, I'll come on every Saturday, and then you
nose to the grindstone for a little bit there.
Got a lot on your
we
plate.
knew that.
But with your first year coming in, you're bringing a new system in and trying to get these kids adapted to what you want to do. How do you feel your off season went with getting your system implemented, and how the kids got on board with you?
Well, the good thing is we started with a core that as soon as I got the job and started changing film over from my huddle at Warrensburg to Lincoln, the second that was getting posted, kids were on there watching it. Then I started labeling playbook stuff, and it wasn't actual playbook. It's just I'm transferring everything over, and I can see on Huddle who's watching film, and I've got like 20 kids on there. I'm talking within a week of taking the job and this getting posted. They started having off-season meetings at one of their houses on a Sunday afternoon. They would watch 2 hours of film. They would go out and try to walk through some of the plays. And we joked a couple times, like, you know, they were interpreting hieroglyphics because I wasn't there to explain any of it. So it was kind of like their interpretation of it. That core of kids, though, you know, that changed a lot of things when I started, where, yeah, there's some new faces that maybe hadn't played football, kids that you got to come out that weren't on the team last year, but that core, knowing the basics of the playbook, if they had not done that work, I don't know that we would have gotten to the point that we're at now. It's not as advanced as I want it to be, right? But we got every bit of the basic bread and butter stuff down and refined it enough where I felt like in 7 weeks of time, I cannot believe that they picked it up that fast. There were a lot of things I thought I'd have to trim out, and it's just been nothing but they're so hungry for football. They're hungry for like football IQ, knowledge, X's and O's, and I love to teach it. So it's been a really good marriage so far.
And that's good, you know, because let's face it, kids these days don't really want to take the initiative on anything.
Right.
And to see those kids, you know, grab onto it like that and run with it. And,
I've never had that, ever. Not ever have I had a team or a group do that in an off season like that.
Well, you know, that's good. And it's probably also the excitement of a new coach coming in, change, different philosophies, different playbook. And, you know, that's a big step in your program if kids can, you know, take the initiative to, you know, get a head start on it.
Right.
You know, learn the X's and O's and then go out and execute.
I mean, there were ups and downs over the summer. There were, you know, we had some kids we got to come out for a couple days and thought we were going to get them to stick with it. There were really talented athletes, and unfortunately a couple of them didn't, but then we got a couple others that did, and so you're not going to get them all to stay, but since school started, I've had at least 7 or 8 kids come up and ask if they can still join, and I'm like, heck yeah. I mean, I think we'll be over. I'm interested to see what happens Monday.
I was going to say, you're going to have to take you're going to have to take some late ones, because I said that 100%. once some of these kids are on the leaning one way or the other, once they see what's going to go on out there, they're going to want to be a part of it.
Yep. Yeah.
Have to come.
And that was the hope, you know. It was like, especially, you know, we talk about all the reasons you want to win week 1, but that was one of them too. Was, yes, we get to a hard part of our season here pretty quick, but I think that first game showed that things can be different, and the more of those guys we can get to come out, the more things we're going to be able to do. So, but no, the entire off season was. The coaches that I have too, that's the other thing. I have a much bigger staff than I've ever had before. Bringing in new faces, bringing back some of the old faces that were here, but those guys have adapted really quickly. And there's been times where like I'm so used to doing so much, and I want it, and it's hard sometimes to give it up, you know what I mean? But those guys, like I turn in, like I've got a brand new first-year teacher that's my tight ends coach, and he's got them off separate doing all this extra work. And then I've got the O-line over here doing, and they're all 30 minutes early for practice. And I'm just standing there looking around, and I'm watching all these guys take initiative, and I'm like, I was blown away by it. And that has benefited the kids so much as well. Like, you know, I can do what I can do, but I'm only going to be as good as the guys that are underneath me too.
Well, the kids got to buy into each one of those coaches.
Right, exactly.
They know what they're doing.
They've each got to earn their respect from the kids, and the whole off season was building that trust up too. And you know, it wasn't all perfect, right? But it was, I think, about as good as we were going to get for an off season.
Yeah, I mean,
W.
First game of the season, got to be some butterflies, a lot of, you know, extra activities going on with the new field. And yeah, anytime your first game, I mean, you see it in NFL and college, you know, there's going to be mistakes, but you want to see those mistakes because that's something that you can work on, you know, this week during practice.
That's always the message too, not being afraid to fail. And this generation has to hear it more than anybody.
Yeah.
It's not that they don't want to try; they don't want to fail. They don't want to see, you know, people to see them fail. But they'll never learn unless they make the mistake. And I don't know how many times Coach can attest to this. I mean, they told us things when I was a kid, and we didn't always listen, right? And you get older, and you're like, okay, well, I remember him telling me that. He was right about that. He was right about that. And sometimes
even parents were sometimes right.
Well, occasionally, my dad might have been right once or twice, but that's about it. Okay. But no, there's a lot of buy-in that takes place, but at the same time, they have to see sometimes something bad has to happen, adversity has to happen, and then you get to go back and talk through it. If you don't take those moments to do that, though, those mistakes will just continue to happen. So it's not like the mistake is always good, but the first time around, if we can teach and learn from it, great. But you obviously don't want to repeat it.
I'll tell you one thing I really liked last night was when you got the first, whatever went on, and then all of a sudden Manual came down, they scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
And now, Manual thinks they're going to run away with this thing. And I noticed right away the positivity of the coaches, the kids. They came off that field after giving up a touchdown, but it wasn't like, this is over, we're giving up. It was like, it was a wake-up call for them.
That was the moment where you're looking right into their eyes, and me especially, knowing what Lincoln football has been and seeing the heads that drop from what I was used to back then. It was just like defeated after the first touchdown you give up. And I had heard, from the year before, there were some guys that maybe that happened. And so as soon as you're looking right at them, and maybe for a split second there was like a little tiny bit, and Coach V touched on this after the game. It was like, but you didn't let yourselves quit. You didn't let yourselves hang your head. Like you easily could have. You kind of, but then it was like right back at it. And even we turned the ball over twice the first 2 times we had the ball. And that, that's tough to get through too. So not only did you give up a score, but when you did start moving the ball, you turn it over, and that can be a momentum killer. There wasn't a little microcosm. There's adversity right there.
Yeah, you had it early. So that's what I was pointing out. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. You had it early.
If you're looking for lessons for the season, it's like we're going to go through this, in different ways all throughout, and you have to just keep finding a way to come back, keep fighting, and then I will say that a million times. You just got to keep fighting.
Well, in this situation, I thought it was almost better that they had that first touchdown than you.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that causes a whole different thing. Of, boy, it's going to be easy. We're going to do this all day.
Well, I mean, you look at halftime when you go in with a lead, and as soon as we got in there, one of our seniors stepped up and starts talking about Lanphier last year, and I think they were up at halftime against Lanphier, and kind of just took foot off the pedal, and to see those guys, I didn't even have to say that message. Like again, that's another area where the kids are taking initiative, just like the coaches, just like the group in the offseason. That was a huge message to the team. I think that was a very mature message, but it's exactly, it's true. Like you can't take your foot off the pedal. That is a team. Just at the very end, they got that onside and rattled off a couple. They had some broken plays that were big plays. Like they had some really good football players.
Kids, they were tough to tackle out in the open field.
And absolutely, but you also know too, if you any game that you limit the mistakes and the other team, if you don't turn the ball over and they do, you're going to win the game. But those kind of teams specifically, you cannot make mistakes. They will. And if you weather the storm, as we did, then they started eventually, when they have to throw the ball a little bit, they weren't as comfortable when they could just, run to the outside every single play.
Try to get outside.
Yeah.
Like I always say, make it a track meet.
And we adjusted well to that, though. I mean, by the end, the defensive ends were containing them and
Yeah, it just took a little bit for contain.
Yes, and the DB staying over the top. I don't know how many times.
Yep.
I was about to be like, well, you can give a 10-yard bubble now, just because you guys over the top means over the top, not let him get past you after 7 steps. And that was why we were getting burned early, is we're biting up on the quarterback, scrambling out, and but they're coachable. So those adjustments were, there's a lot of times where Coach Coop could just say one thing and things were fixed really, really quick.
So how many kids out there were making like their first start or their first time being on a varsity game?
You've got a handful, though, that they did get playing time last year. I wouldn't say they were starters, but they did play some varsity. But it's probably half on both sides of the ball. But then some of the guys that are starting weren't playing the positions that they're at now.
Different positions, yeah.
Offensive line up front, there's 2 sophomores on that offensive line and a junior. And the 2 sophomores, you wouldn't really know. I mean, Hunter Clark, you can tell is a senior because he's
got some big kids out there.
But the sophomores, you wouldn't know from the seniors because they are just as big as the seniors are. Actually, the other senior that starts is my smallest of the offensive linemen, but there's a lot of youth. Meade is a sophomore running the ball.
Well, he runs hard.
Reese Warner scored 3 times. He's a junior.
Lyman turned fullback, right?
Yeah, he was guard to start the season, and Marcus, who was a running back, ends up at guard. So those two kind of flip spots. And then quarterback-wise, it's sometimes I forget that Logan's not a junior and Briggs is not a senior. We had this battle, and we have 2 really good quarterbacks, but it's a sophomore and a junior. And like Logan last night, throughout the whole game, in my mind, I don't see him as a sophomore. I cannot believe his composure. I mean, sure, he made a couple mistakes. He forced a couple balls he shouldn't have, but he's not afraid to let it go. And he's improved so much, and that's the thing. Like, I don't know what I would have been like as a sophomore. I didn't get to play that season with a broken leg, but I've had sophomores start before, and the first game usually is shell shock. It's deer in the headlights, and he learned so much last night, I think, but just the way he kind of kept things together. Because honestly, if you go back and watch the film, we messed up a lot of plays. I mean, we left some big touchdowns out there. There were a lot of things that you wouldn't have known that they were not lining up correctly and things like that. And he was able to get some guys fixed out there, and that's a sophomore. A sophomore is not usually the guy that's out there leading the offense, fixing things right. So that's
threw some good balls.
Yeah, we had a couple big drops. That's the other thing too. Is like you look at the stat sheet and you're like, but the drops. There was one corner out that was so pretty early on to Wilkerson, who ended up redeeming himself multiple times after that. But I mean, it was fun to kind of try to mix the ball around, and there was a couple guys obviously that mainly carried the load last night. But there was a couple guys last night that did not get touches that I think you're going to see have some big explosive plays in the future.
Do you think when you look at it back and forth, a lot to work on both sides of the ball, but what surprised you, like that, how well you did?
The one, and I talked about this last night, the kickoff team. Almost every tape I turned on, I would say over half, it was opening return. If we were on kickoff, we gave up a touchdown. And the one thing in the offseason, we said we wanted to address special teams. We wanted to spend time on it. I don't think there was much time spent on it in the past, and it's like that was one thing we were big on before. And we had guys on that team that were challenged to go down and prove that they can be men, essentially. I mean, it takes a lot to fly down on kickoff and go in and stick your nose in there and make a tackle, but over the course of time throughout the last week when we were doing some drills in practice, it was like, let's find the meanest 11 guys that just want to fly down and be crazy, and they went down and covered every single time. I mean, those are the little things, I think, that those were the improvements that a lot of people aren't going to notice, but that's huge those are back-breaking plays. And just that, like, they knew that was a problem last year. When we got those first couple tackles, you'd think we scored a touchdown. Kids on the sideline were going extremely nuts. And there was a couple kids that got tackles that I think are kids that most people wouldn't expect to make a tackle. And you want to talk about being proud of some kids. Like, I've never been so excited for a couple of them to make tackles on kickoff, but the looks on their faces were priceless.
That's something up in the stands that we noticed. Actually, kickoffs we thought were a pretty big deal. That was going to be my point I was going to bring up to you here. I mean, not only did he cover well, the ball was kicked well as well. I mean, that's to start it off. But boy, those kids were getting their nose down in there.
Yep.
It was entertaining to watch, to see the reckless abandon going on that was happening. And as the game went along, they got more and more. I mean, you could see the confidence started. Hey, I want to make that play.
That's exactly right. It becomes a competition.
Yep.
And it's the same way for the offensive line. When somebody gets the first pancake block, defense, somebody gets the first sack, and then it kind of starts to roll. You're like, all right, now who's going to get the most? And when it starts becoming that kind of a competition, that is the funnest game to ever be in football, because I mean, you're not even thinking about the score. It's just like each play, and watching all these kids just go after it. I don't know. There's been a lot of awesome first games, I feel like, in my career and games that I've won, but just, again, I've never seen so much joy, and to see them kind of get that off their back, I don't know. I can't really put it into words. I'm not going to lie to you.
Walk around this week in confidence.
Well, lift it up a little bit more. That new field, you're sitting there staring at that thing. It's like, wow. It's impressive.
The honeymoon phase got extended for a little bit longer, and we're gonna hit some tough times, obviously. But they had to. It's starting off on that foot. I think no matter what happens now, they have seen that it's possible. If it doesn't happen week 1 and you start hitting the tough point of your schedule, you're like, oh, hey guys, later in the year we'll get there.
Yeah.
But they don't. They're not going to.
They can
totally
get away from you.
Right.
Yeah.
But now it's like, okay, we see the reality that's in front of us, but we know now what we can do, and that's why week 1, when that's over, my nerves are gone. I love football, but the lead up to the first game is the most stressful. Not because of the work you're doing, just the anxiety of I don't know who we are.
Enough, yeah.
Yes, and then you never feel like you have. You could do a million things, and you feel like you didn't have enough time, and you don't know till that first whistle when they run down how you're going to stack up. And again, I know Manual is not the number 1 team in the state, but I saw things from kids last night that were incredible improvements from what I had seen the year before.
You go back to the kickoffs. I noticed it right away because my motto is I'm never going to kick to their fastest kid on the team and see if we can tackle him. But they were consistent. They were down there, and these kids and they did a good job of fielding them.
Yes.
And they were coming at you.
Yes.
And I was like, oh boy, I thought it was trouble every time.
So you mentioned like from the stands the things you don't know, right? That the ball was not supposed to always be kicked that deep. They were supposed to be pop-ups to about the 30 to either side, because that's one thing I was scared of. I was like, I would rather get them down there, field it. We'll play defense from the 35 to 40, whatever.
It's a backbreaker when that happens.
And he booted the first one, and I was like, oh no, like please don't outkick the coverage, and you're just praying. And then you watch the first one happens, you're like, okay. And then the next time, I mean, they were still good. They were up high. I mean, they weren't line drives, but he just had some adrenaline on him that, I mean, if that was him trying to pop the ball up, if he can find that adrenaline again and try to kick it deep, that could get to the end zone. And
yeah, they were good kicks.
Jacob's extremely athletic. I mean, he doesn't even really have any idea what he's doing yet. I mean, he's super raw. Whereas like Bowman's very soccer kid.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Jacob's just an athlete who's kicking. We had him punt the other day. His steps are all completely messed up and weird. And then he punts the ball 50 yards. Like, we can refine this a little bit, but there's a lot of kids like that. You're starting to find out they have a lot of different talents, and if you can get them in the right places, we don't have one guy who's the dude, but you put a lot of them together, you can create a pretty good model of that, right? So,
well, you kind of we've kind of ran through the game from those guys getting on the board for first, the Railers making a run and taking it back over, taking the momentum. As we got later in the game, I know that things change, and you got a bunch of kids playing, and they scored a few times. But really, you could have given up only that 8 the entire thing.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely wanted 40 to 8. I mean, you act like it doesn't matter, but in your head, just selfishly, you're like, that does sound really nice, as opposed to 40 to 20, right? And Coach Coop likes when it's a single digit as opposed to double. But you get some kids in at the end that need reps. We had a couple DBs that were in great position, and they made really good plays. And getting the onside kickback, I should have put hands team out. Honestly, at 40 to 8, with a minute left, I did not think they would.
I would not have thought it either.
And even if they did, I was like, they're
it's
not.
It's a squib somewhere.
Yeah. So, looking back on it, it's like we'll definitely play it a little more cautious. I don't care if I'm up by 50. I'll put hands team out next time. I'm not going to let, us go through that again. But no, those guys at the end needed some reps. I'm glad that they got in there, and it's not all because of them. I mean, there's a lot of reasons it happened. They made some good plays on offense, but the kids that we put in actually did a good job.
Well, I always said, hey, they're going to score. These kids practiced all week, too.
Yeah.
You can't get beat up about it.
They're an explosive team. You can't expect that you're not going to hold an explosive team in check for an entire game. But if you can limit it and get them to make a few mistakes, that's what you need.
Well, let's talk about next week.
Marion,
Illinois.
It's a really close game, actually. It's pretty close. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a nice.
Now, how long are the Raiders staying down there? The whole weekend? Or?
Oh yeah, we get a little 5-star hotel we've got down there in Southern Illinois.
That's a long way down there.
It's a good 3.5-hour bus ride. I think at first it was a little more intimidating the way they made it sound, and then I looked at a map. And it's not much further south than Johnson City, which I've been down to.
Yep.
And,
that was playoff.
It was a second round game, and that was 3 hours and 15 minutes from over that way. But it goes by a lot faster than you think, and it's a charter bus, so that's kind of nice. The kids they get spoiled a little bit, and Booster Club's taking care of them with some snacks and stuff. So the prep for that is kind of odd. We're leaving at 12:30 on a Friday, which is also not a thing I'm used to. But that's a team that we got film. I had their film from week 9 from last year, I think, in January. I have a couple connections down there that were looking for some stuff, and I said, you wouldn't happen to have film on Marion, would you? I knew it was week 2, but I still just kind of wanted to see. I'm not familiar with a lot of those Southern Illinois schools, but they're a traditionally pretty good football program. Yep. They gave Carterville a run for their money last night. They lost a lot of seniors. It was similar to kind of like what Glenwood had happen. They had 20-some seniors that they lost.
100 seniors.
Yeah, Glenwood had 40-some, right? Yeah. But it was a huge senior class, so that doesn't mean they didn't have guys ready to step up that were good. It's going to be an interesting test. To me, it's one of those, there's games on the schedule that you got a good chance in. There's games that you're like, we just got to go out and compete because this is a really high caliber team. And then there's those middle ones where it's an unknown. Your U-Highs, MacArthur's, like there's years where they're really good, years where they're not. I don't think we're at the point yet where we're not at our full potential, so I think we have a lot of room to grow, but we have to play really good football next week. This is a team that is well coached and disciplined, so you're not going to get some of the leeway that you had where Manuel was making some mistakes out there, and we were fortunate enough, like when we made mistakes, they might have made a worse one at the same play. Marion's going to be a lot more disciplined than that.
Good football program.
Yeah, I mean, they've had, like I said, they've had success in the past. There's a reason for that, and it's a good. I like having this challenge right now. You got that first win, great, good. Here you go, right off the test 2. It's got to be harder, and it's going to continue to get harder. But then at the end, you get to those games that you should win, and if we can just stay healthy, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to, change how I'm playing kids. We have to be who we are, and some other guys might have to step up, but it's you got to start really working on some different things and setting some different goals. We have to go into this game believing that we can win, and I think that's the other thing. We don't know Marion. The kids don't know Marion. It's not like when you look at a Rochester and traditionally it hasn't gone well, and you get kids that are like, they heard Hillsboro and they were tremendously excited. They don't know anything about Hillsboro, good or bad. It's an unknown, and half the battle is just believing that you can do it. So I think that confidence will carry over, but it's going to be a lot of still tons of corrections. It wouldn't matter win or lose. I would say that to you. I mean, there's a million things I want to fix immediately after the game. So,
did you have? I've heard the chatter about how exciting it was last night, as far as like we were throwing the ball around a little bit. And I said, yeah. We're. He likes that.
If you called my offensive line coach from Orangeburg, he would not believe you that I ran the ball as many times as I did last night. So the stat sheet, I did it right before I came because I have to know, and it's still unofficial technically, but we had 13 pass attempts. Out of the 13 pass attempts, when we throw or we do jet sweep, it's toss.
That's a pass.
So I would say 8 of my 13 pass plays were probably jet sweeps. And, there's 2 reasons for that. One, you got young quarterbacks. You want to come in and not put a bunch on their plate. 2, I need more receivers. I mean, I've got a couple guys right now that are doing a good job, but our depth there, we're very limited. But our offensive line and our tight end room is stacked. And we knew if worst comes to worst, we can rely on this run game. I have not always had that. I've had great run schemes with coaches that were my offensive line coach at Warrensburg was awesome, but we never had dominant offensive lines that you could just rely on, like, they're going to get me 5 yards. And so we ran the ball for 6 yards of carry, and at that point, you're not going to stop doing what's working. But that's what this offense is. It's adaptable to everything. It's still spread. It looks smoke and mirrors. We ran power counter ISO over and over and over and over. And I mean, that's I formation stuff, So we did throw a couple balls deep. Man, they have no idea. Like I, as a quarterback, was just internally just in pain last night because I wanted to chuck the ball up so much. But obviously, as I've gotten older and matured more as a coach, you want the win. You got to do what you got to do to win. I know it might not look pretty all the time and it's not fancy, but that was the most important thing. And there'll be times where the ball flies. I mean, trust me, we're gonna get to that point. But when it's all said and done, I will get my passing yards and the passing game that I want. But you do what you do best, and that's our strength. And I think any coach that is worth their salt is always going to adjust to the best of their abilities.
Now, sticking with the schedule, a couple weeks ago, Eisenhower came out and said they won't have a football program because the lack of kids. Is that the Hillsboro game that you filled in there?
Yep.
Okay. So announcing it that right before the season. That's got to be tough because a lot of teams already have their schedule set. How did Hillsboro come into effect?
There were only going to be a few options. Litchfield had just canceled their season. So that conference, I used to coach in that conference at Southwestern. Hillsboro is the first team I ever coached against as a head coach. My receivers coach, Coach Duval, catches the first touchdown of that game. We get within 7 points, can't beat them. I never beat Hillsboro in 4 years at Southwestern. So as soon as the words Hillsboro came out of their mouth, I said absolutely yes. Like, I'm ready to go back down there. They've been coming to us for homecoming, but it was that or the other school was up. I can't remember who it was. It was like a 7A, 8A school up by Chicago. And that was the two options. Now, you can accept the game or you take the forfeit. The year I was at Warrensburg, we went 5-4 and did not make the playoffs. We took a forfeit win. Two of the other teams in our conference did not. They went and played other schools and lost. So that's 2 playoff points that we lost out on, and then we missed the playoffs by a point. Oh. So you're looking at that like, if I do that again, could it come back to bite me? If we had played a game and won, we would have gotten another playoff point because you don't get one for the forfeit. Mm-hmm. So there was a little bit of regret there. So in my mind, I'm like, this time around, I don't want a forfeit win. That doesn't do anything for us. If we go 3-6 or 4-5, everyone's still going to be like, yeah, but one of those games was a forfeit, and I want to win 4, games.
Kids need to
by winning 4 games, right? And we need reps. We're building for the future. This wasn't a 1-year deal. I don't want to sacrifice things for 1 year. And you want the seniors to go out good, and you want to win every game. But this thing is big picture, and it's going to take time, but. There's so many parts about it right now that have gone better than I expected. And I know I keep coming back to that, but it really has been incredibly exciting to be back doing this here.
So you're talking big picture, long term. It sounds like you've kind of put your fingerprints maybe on the junior Railer football now already, which is, I think, a huge deal.
We had some camps this summer. We had a lot of kids come out. We had the JFL coaches came out. They've been asking questions. They've been asking for playbooks. I asked them to sit down and meet. They all were more than willing to do that.
They were talking about the playbooks.
Yeah, and there was I was like, I'm going to give you guys this, and even that was like maybe like 1/10, and I was like, but you don't have to. And they're like, yeah, we're going to maybe use like 5 of these.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I know that, but it's take what you want out of it because I just want you using my terminology.
Just going to say the terminology.
I don't want you to do exactly what I do. If you can't throw, don't throw. Just like what we're doing right now. Like I'm not saying we can't, but our run game right now, our power run game is our strength. So those are the kind of plays I'm going to focus on. If they have guys that can run outside or, it's whatever they've got, I want them to be able to do that because they got to have success. But when they get to me, I don't want it to be like, oh, well, we call this something completely different. All of those schemes will still be the same. But we have a couple grade levels, though, where, there's a 3rd grader out there that can sling it probably as good as some 7th. He's going to give Riker a run for his money. Riker's going to be in 7th grade. There was a 3rd grader at camp that legitimately could throw the ball like a 7th or 8th grade kid. So that age group, if they can find a kid to catch and block for a second, they'll be able to. And then 5th and 6th grade, there wasn't a quarterback really, and they might have to convert a receiver. At least they were talking about it. So maybe they're going to run the ball a lot. You never know. But they're committed to change too. Not only is it my dad's helping down there, but Miles Craig played for my dad, played at Lincoln. Alex Dom played with me, played at Lincoln. Josh Levy played with me, played at Lincoln. John Eigenbrod, another guy that I'm good friends with. That like all of them are committed to this as well. And in places I've been in the past, those guys are. Sometimes you get a rogue JFL that thinks he's been watching NFL
the next
football.
Head coach.
And
I've heard about those guys.
And that's the thing with
especially when they're a Bears fan, you're like, really?
Hey,
like,
that's easy.
I'm just kidding.
And
it's better being a Cardinals fan, so I don't.
I was being nice to.
I was just kidding.
The Chiefs.
Chiefs were bad last year, so you can let me have it.
They won't be this year. Emmett Johnson in the backfield.
That has looked pretty nice.
I'm excited.
Better be able to run when your QB's got one leg still. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's not.
He can run and catch, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
So he's good one, I think.
So you talk JFL, and they don't really necessarily have to have a big playbook. If you can find 5 or 6 plays and really focus on those and have them run it, correctly, and you stick with that. Once you start expanding that playbook, like you said earlier, putting a little too much on their plate, kind of dummy it down, simplify it, and go from there.
The attention spans, I think there's been several studies done where, you're talking minutes, if a minute sometimes, right? It was like 30 minutes, 15 minutes. Now we don't even know because
worse
of the
now
phones,
with phones,
right? And we're getting rid of them now in the high school, thank God. That's going to be a huge change, but when you're at practice, though, too, that's the other thing is a lot of JFL coaches, we're just going to run kids. We're just going to run, we're just going to run, we're just going to run. And they don't practice plays, and they don't teach the plays. And it's like, well, we can't block this play. We can't pull. Well, did you go through and explain it and actually, and a lot of times I don't think that was right. And maybe it's too complicated for some of them that were doing it, but the guys there now, all of them, ran that style of offense essentially in high school. And I think it'll translate, but yeah, you got to keep it simple. I think when I was in 8th grade, we ran spread formation. It was like 2 plays. We ran empty. It was like literally 1 play. We might have ran the whole 90% of the time with a few options to it, but that's what you get to.
Give the defense a different look.
Right, and even with those 3 or 4 or 5 plays, you start building stuff off of each of those plays.
Yeah.
So by the end, it might look like it's only 4 plays, but really it's 28 plays because you have different variations of each one. So I'm hoping that, they get to that point, but keep it simple.
That's something that's really important for the head coach to be involved with the JFL. I know back when I was coaching, Shaner was very involved.
Yeah.
And, we would have meetings, and he would give us a playbook, and he would tell us, it's just a suggestion, just keep it simple. Get them 5-6 plays that they can run really good, and then start mixing in some new stuff, and then, see what happens.
You guys remember Terry McCombs or no? Terry McCombs, legendary coach at Bloomington High. I spoke with him one time at a clinic. In my early year, I was probably a first-year coach, but I spoke with him at a clinic, and he said, because I had watched their games, he does so much, and he just looked at me and he goes, Joe, I've got 4 plays. And I said, 4 plays? And he said, yeah. I said, but I can line up in 22 formations.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm going to give the kids on their team something to think about, but I only run 4 plays.
Yeah. Smoke and mirrors. We've talked about that too. A lot of people think it's fluff, but it's not. The defense, they are constantly thinking. You're getting their eyes in different directions. It's very easy as a defense if the offense just lines up. And if they're bigger and stronger than you, yeah, it'll work. But you have to give a little bit of show over here, right? And like you're coming back over this way, and yeah,
see the shiny glass over here?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
you talk about injuries last night, everything. Obviously probably some bumps and bruises, but nothing crazy or major.
No. That was obviously like we said, going throughout these next couple of weeks, like we have to stay healthy, and that's something we do talk about as well. There's a difference between playing scared and playing smart, and knowing, I got kids that want to run through somebody every single time. That's great. It looks cool. Everybody goes ooh and ah when you truck somebody. And somebody who did that when they were younger, as you get older, you start to learn that maybe I shouldn't have done that every single time. My shoulders hurt a little bit more now. I could have ran around the guy and just scored. There was a couple drills where they're just going. It's not Oklahoma. We don't do anything like that. But my running back's got all this open field, and he just kept going at the middle linebacker. And I was like, hey, how about you just plant one foot and go? Middle linebacker just absolutely olays and just face plants into the dirt. And it's like, you guys can't run around them as well, right? But that's one of those things too, is like they're still kids, right? They don't really always think sometimes, and they just get so aggressive they kind of lose their mind and forget what they're doing. But
2 good looks back there though with your I call him a fullback, but you call him a tailback or running back?
I don't know what I'm going to call Reese. He is my baby bus. He's my little Jerome Bettis out there. He is incredibly fast for somebody his size, and when we put him at guard, I knew he was a guard. They moved him to fullback for a little bit last year, but he only really was a lead blocker. It's not his thing. When he runs, that's his thing. Those shoulders stay north and south. We've talked a lot about not getting his shoulders around. You saw it was like just bowled through those guys. And then Meade, you got Meade coming through right after that.
Meade's a fireball too.
He's not very tall, but it's perfect because he can slip through those gaps so quick.
Barry Sanders wasn't very tall.
No, he was not. I wish Meade was Barry Sanders, but he's got more power to him, I would say, than he is.
He runs up the gap. He hit the hole.
And there's a third and fourth guy that could come in and run really hard too, and we didn't. Unfortunately, I can't give everybody the ball, but there is some other guys at running back that will run hard like that. But those 2, last night it was we're putting it on your back, and guys up front do your job, and here we go.
And then that'll wear out a defense. You keep running,
especially the power guys.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to take its toll on your linebackers and your defensive interior, and and then those kids that you talked about really didn't get the opportunity last night. They'll get their time because it's a 9-game season.
That's tough to tell a kid. To be patient, and at some point everybody's going to make an impact. At some point we're going to need everybody, and that's. In your mind, for one kid, maybe that's one game. For some kids, it's a whole season, and that's life's not fair. It stinks that it can't be all of them. But if we can, that's going to be the kicker. Can you get the role guys to really buy into, if I'm just a special teams guy, and if this is my job, will I be happy with that? And so far, everybody's been a really good teammate, but that is something that you worry about going forward is there's only one ball to spread around. There's only so much playing time, and so many of these guys have worked so hard. I want to see them all find a way out there, but there might be a couple who they don't see the field till week 8, and it's end of third quarter, and it's 3rd and 10, and I need a first down, and my receiver goes down, and there's nobody left, and I grab you from the sidelines. I'm like, Jimmy, you better get in there and run this fish route, and he's crapping his pants, but it might have to be you, and you make that catch, and that might be the one catch you make, but that first down might be the biggest first down of the entire season. So you got to be ready when your number's called, and that's so cliche. But there's a reason cliches are cliches, right? You have to be ready when your number's called, and that's another thing as a coach. You got to prepare as many of them as you can. You never know.
It's true. It's good. Well, all in all, the Fricky era got off to a good start.
It's hard to say, huh?
Coach White told me. Coach White said if I retire now, I'm going to be first in winning percentage. And coach, so I think I'm just going to have to. I don't.
Was that what you want to do today? Was announce that?
I just came on to say that, but no.
That's what most guys come to Lincoln football for. It's their winning percentage.
Yes, that's what. When I took the job, I was like, I'm going to get that to go up now. But getting the first one is like the monkey off your back. I'm glad it was the first week, and I told him to really enjoy it. Most of the time I'm like, move on the next day, but this one, more than any other time, I was like, savor just a couple of days longer.
You knew coming in, Central State A, that's a tough conference. I mean, that's probably one of the toughest in the state of Illinois.
So when the good happens, you better talk about the good, enjoy the good, because you're going to take your lumps, right? But
because it's going to get tough. But if the kid's going with the mindset, just to compete, like you said, anything can happen, but
full buy-in's not going to happen until there's proof. All the words and all the talk and all the playbook stuff meant nothing. Like until you get out there and actually do
the new field is great, but that's not going to win you football games.
Right.
It's the product on the field, and last night it's a good start. Get their confidence rolling, and we'll see what happens the next 8 weeks.
How do we feel about the uniforms?
Loved them.
Okay.
I noticed them right away.
I went old school with that. I can't decide next year if we're going to go green helmet, because those white ones are growing on me.
Those white ones are cool.
But the old school, I had to go back to green. Had to.
Look good. So. I noticed your green shoes when you came in. You had to go buy those.
I had some. I had any of those. I had to rip the Jordans. I saw them coming with the water cooler last night, and I have never bought Jordans in my life. And they're running at me with this water cooler, and I have they're white with red and green. Like, it took me so long to find these. I was so excited. I finally spent some money on shoes, and I'm like, no. And they're like, you better take them off. And I'm like ripping my shoes off, throwing them. Riker comes running out with my shoes, and the water goes on. But
it's fun.
I might not have cared in that moment. I don't, those shoes would have gotten framed up somewhere. And
one request we have on jerseys is make sure their numbers are legible, where you can see them. We have a couple of broadcasters up there that it's hard to see the numbers.
And more than a couple.
And Joe.
I saved the. There's a set of white with just green outline. Yeah. And the numbers are you couldn't tell.
You can't tell.
I saved them for 7-on-7 jerseys. I think they look cool. But
they look cool,
I
but
could see why.
Yeah.
You'd have no idea. On that.
Especially about 7:00 at night when that sun, there's that glare. You can't.
There goes that guy with the ball.
Yeah, he has by that guy. Officials going. Well, I don't know what they were like this on calls.
Yeah. I mean,
did you get his number?
Yep.
No.
Who knows?
We just make it up half the time. But yeah, that's exciting, and congratulations for you and the kids.
Thank you.
Kick off the season the right way.
They deserved it.
And obviously now there's some expectations from a coaching staff because fix the things that we did wrong and improve on the things that we did right.
Absolutely.
And that's very exciting.
Let's go get the Wildcats, right?
Is that now?
Marion Wildcats.
That's down in Marion next Friday night.
I'm not good with the mascots. I just see the big M in the middle of the field, right?
Bit of Wildcats.
And we're still
waiting. Live in West Frankfort.
Yeah.
I know where they are.
Okay. We're still waiting for the Railer Man statue that breathes fire.
Yeah, I thought the school board was going to work on getting that done. I don't know what happened on this.
Well, the field kind of took probably a lot of the.
Yeah, we'll get to that at some point. All the animatronics and
yes.
they were rolling sod down literally like right before, and they were working their butts off to get that thing done right before the game. But man, it came together nice right at the end. Like I said, I was a little worried, but
now the pressure's off. They can finish it up for a couple of weeks.
It looks so good. It's all.
Did you have to go up to maybe some former coaches or anything and tell them, hey, you can be on the sideline, but stay at least this far away from the kids?
I stayed away from them. Never went in the box.
I saw you keep trying to inch in there.
Just follow the play.
If those said certain coaches happen to do that, I don't think I would ever have a problem with it. 'Cause those said certain coaches were my favorite coaches, so there's a reason why I'm doing this, and it's because of people like him. So.
Well, I don't know if it's about me, but
no,
you're around a lot of coaches.
It's all you guys. I had a lot of good coaches. I was very lucky.
It was fun to sit down there and watch it go. It was good. It's good.
Yep. Yeah. Hopefully we get a couple more down the road, right?
Absolutely. And no doubt in my mind that we will. So thanks for joining us.
Yep.
I know you got things you want to do on Saturday morning, tape.
I was looking forward to this, not going to lie to you. Especially after the win. I was like, okay.
Well, wins are much easier.
I will still be here on Saturdays, win or lose the rest of this. That leading up to got
probably a little more talkative though with the wins, right?
Yeah,
after the wins.
I might be a little happier. You might see a little more grumpier version of me when it's not. It doesn't go. So
I know
well.
That's fine. We'll take it.
We'll get after it.
All right, Coach. Thanks for coming on, and we'll talk to you. Well, I don't even know if we'll talk to you next Saturday because
we have JV the next day, so that might be.
I'll be out there.
I'll be home, nice and early after that 3.5-hour bus ride home, and then I think we turn around and play JV at 12 o'clock on Saturday. So.
Well, I mean, obviously, if you're up to it, we'd love to have you on
for sure.
But I know it's going to be a long day for you.
We can make it work.
Absolutely. All right, let's take a commercial break. We come back. We'll have more here on the Cheap Seats, WLCN 96.3 FM.
Whether you're buying or selling your home, the brokers of Me Realty will work with you to get the deal done. As one of Central Illinois' top producing offices for decades, Me Realty has the experience to guide you through the process. You want results? Call the brokers of Me Realty at 217-735-5424, stop by the office at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln, or check out local listings online at merealty.com.
Culver's is a family restaurant. To me, that means being the place that puts a smile on everyone's face. We're famous for our cooked-to-order butter burgers and frozen custard made daily inside our restaurants. But we've always believed more menu options mean more ways to brighten your day. We source the finest chicken to bring you our tenders and chicken sandwiches. And our cheese curds. They're a Wisconsin tradition we're proud to share with you. So take the next meal shift off and let us take care of you. Welcome to Delicious.
Culver's, home of the Butterburger, 2530 Woodlawn Road in Lincoln. Located in Lincoln, Illinois since 1988, Collision Concepts Incorporated is your home for safe and proper repairs. Today's highly advanced vehicles require deep research before repairs even begin. CCI utilizes cutting-edge equipment and premium products for every single job. As a Ford manufacturer certified and iCar Gold class facility, let CCI ensure your vehicle is safe to transport your loved ones. Visit Collision Concepts Incorporated today at 1005 Macon Street in Lincoln, or go online to collisionconceptsinc.com. Collision Concepts Incorporated. Experience the difference.
In today's automotive environment, there's a lot of uncertainty about who will be around next week, next month, or next year. One thing's for sure, Grouse Chevrolet will be here to service your automotive needs. The service department and staff are not only factory trained, but you've come to know as part of the community. They'll gladly perform a visual inspection of your vehicle and let you know what needs to be done now or can wait until later. Trust your automotive investment to the people you know and trust at Grau Chevrolet. Call or stop by Grau right now.
It's Grau right now.
Shop local.
Shop local. Shop local.
We've all heard the messages, shop local. But if you're a local business, do you advertise local? We're WLCN, your local FM radio station. And all those reasons for shopping local, like contributing to the local economy and working with local individuals who live, work, and spend right here, those same things apply to WLCN. We're the radio station publicizing upcoming fundraisers for local community groups, interviewing local individuals about local issues on locally produced programs, and offering live video streams of local events. But the only way we can provide such programming is through advertiser support. So before you hop online to catch the latest trend and deal with folks based in who knows where, find out what WLCN can do for you. Email us at advertise@WLCNonline.com or call 217-648-5510 to learn more. Support the local economy. Be sure to shop local. And if your business wants to reach a local audience, be sure to advertise local.
This is Dan Duff, former Lincoln High School basketball player, and you're listening to Cheap Seats with Joe, Jake, Jim, Lloyd, and Shabadoo on 96.3 FM WLCN.
.3 FM. Coach Fricky just on with us. Big win for the Raiders last night to kick off their season. Home opener, new turf. Pretty good crowd from what I understand.
It was packed.
It was packed, yeah.
I tell you what, it was
good
awesome.
crowd.
Yeah, and you know,
student section was fantastic too last night. The band was awesome. So
and that makes
cheerleaders, poms, cheerleaders. Yeah, we don't want to leave mine out. But it was
my
awesome.
dancing daughter.
It was awesome.
All right, well, we're going from one coach to the other. Now joining us on air is Coach Lyons. Good morning, Coach.
I can't hear you guys real well.
He can't hear us real well.
Now we've got technical difficulties.
Well, look at Jim. He's scurrying. He's working hard to figure this out.
He's
how about now?
Plugging things in.
Nope, he's plugging.
No.
Look at him panic. It's always funny.
And now, test one.
Test.
Well,
that's live radio, folks. What in the world? I show up a couple minutes late and everything.
Anyway,
it's my fault.
We'll go back to last night.
To everybody.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
It's just very in the background.
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to hang up and call you back. So, yeah.
Nope, that
doesn't do us any good? Nope, Jim said no.
Jim's like, that's not going to help nothing.
Well, Olympia gets the win last night.
Yeah.
He beat Auburn, I believe, 31-21. So he's Coach Lyons off and rolling with the 1-0 start, picking up from where he left off last year.
Yeah, Auburn's a big win to start the year.
Yeah, that's to have that as your game one, that's a big win for Coach. And
you guys want me to stay on the line here?
Yeah. Jim's working on it. I don't know if we talk a little louder if you can hear us.
I can hear you. I just can't hear the rest of the guys.
Oh, that's fine. They don't have much.
Talk.
Yeah, they're not real bright anyway. But Coach, kicking off the season last night with a big win against Auburn. That's one that you're going into and knowing that's going to be a tough game.
Yeah. I mean, we knew they were going to be much, much better than they were a year ago. I mean, they first of all, they've been really young the last 2 years, and a lot of these kids are starting for their third year, and that, when you're playing sophomores, it's hard. I've been there, and so those kids eventually become juniors and seniors and good football players, and they had a couple just kind of key move-ins this last year. The Chance kid that moved from SHG, he was a very good quarterback. I think, he's probably the best kid we've seen at that position overall since the Maurer kid and the Seaman kid from Williamsville, and Maurer from Maroa. I mean, I was so impressed with how well he played for his first start.
Was that at Auburn?
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
So, I mean,
get a road win.
Yeah, getting that first road win, kicking off the season right. And tell us a little bit about your team. I know you have a lot of returning starters from last year. I know you said you were young last year, so that's got to help you as far as a coaching standpoint of these kids already know, what's going on and just kind of taking off there at the beginning.
Yeah, you kind of get to start in a higher place when you're a veteran, and there was a lot these kids knew coming in. We had, a lot of our skill players returned from last year. We graduated a lot of linemen, and and they're very, very good skill. Jimmy Lawler and Brendan Hardiman and Caden Thomas and Caden Collins, all were skill position starters for us last year and had a lot of output for our team. So having all those guys back is awesome. It's an awesome place. We also, we returned 2 starting offensive linemen, Cale Halley and Trayson Miller, who are 2 tackles last year. So we returned to 8, about 8 of 11 guys on offense. And then on defense, it's about the same. We lost all 3 D linemen, 1 linebacker, and a couple outside linebackers. But a lot of the guys were kind of rotational players last year outside of the D line, so they played a lot. So we got about 8 of 11 there, and moved some guys around into some different spots and moved Caden Collins inside linebacker, which he's done great there. He's going to be a really good player there. So our team, is veteran, and they played like it at times last night, and they played like week 1 sometimes.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So, there was, it's better to, it was a little sloppy, but it's good to win sloppy,
Oh, yeah.
I'd rather win sloppy than lose, So there was a lot of positives to take out of the game. Ty Olson and Cam White, we played 2 quarterbacks, and they both ran the offense great, which that's a good feeling. We weren't exactly sure most of the offseason. They're so close in skill, and so we're going to play them both, and see what happens. We'll go with the hot hand in a game sometimes, but they support each other. They're doing a great job with it. Ty had I don't know if some of you guys will remember this, some of your younger listeners won't, but you remember when Nebraska played Florida in I think it was the Orange Bowl back in Tommy Frazier was the quarterback for Nebraska.
Tommy. Yeah.
You guys remember those teams?
I remember Tommy.
And he had that incredible run in the national championship game, one of the best ones I've ever seen. Ty had a run last night that reminded me a lot of that.
Oh, boy.
He spun around, broke a couple tackles. It was a great run. And then Jimmy had a great game too. I mean, Jimmy's so steady. He had 180 yards rushing last night.
Wow.
And but the thing that was crazy, guys, is they ran 75 offensive plays and we ran 37.
Oh, jeez.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so we didn't have the ball a whole lot. They did a nice job. I mean, they really threw their quick screen game and quick game and just kind of played ball control spread, which I know is not something people think of, but you can do it if you're patient enough. And I thought they did a great job being patient and just kind of taking 3 or 4 or 5 yards and moving the ball down the field. But I was so pleased with the way our defense played last night,
So, they're getting 75 plays off. Your defense is on the field 3/4 of the night. So
our guys were pretty gassed in the fourth quarter. They're running a lot of vertical stuff, and you can see their tongues hanging out of their mouth. But it was a great effort by our kids. I mean, they showed so much grit and resilience. I thought Jimmy Lawler also had a pick six return. Which was a huge play in the game. Yeah,
that'll turn things around.
Also
on offense and a pick six, so that's pretty good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good night.
Yeah.
Can you hear us or no? You got me?
I can. Yeah, I know you guys got to get going.
Well, but we did want to get with you, and we'll get with you next week too. I knew today was going to go a little long with Coach Furkey and the Big W. We hadn't had him on in a while. But you're off and running.
Won last night, huh?
Yeah,
got the dub.
New turf
Who did
down
play last night.
Peoria Manual.
Okay, all right, big win. Yeah. Nice,
big win.
Yeah.
We head to Marion next Friday.
Ooh, that's a haul.
I know. I knew you would know that.
A little reward for the victory last night.
That's even further than Benton or any of those places you were going.
Yeah. That's down there now.
They put the S in Illinois. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Hey, well, Coach, thanks. Sorry we got you late. Thanks. We'll be in touch with you next week. We got to get Alpha here at 10.
Go Spartans, right?
Absolutely.
Right? 1-0. That's a good place to be.
1-0.
That's right. Congrats, Coach.
Keep it rolling. All right, Coach. Thanks for taking some time, and we'll talk to you. We'll get you on a little longer next week.
Sounds good, guys.
All right, buddy. Thanks. Coach Lyons with the Olympia Spartans. Big win for them last night. I know as you flip through all the social media, you got your local radio and newspapers picking who they think are going to win. A lot of them had Auburn.
With the W?
Nice. With the W. So that's good for them. A tough first game for them. Auburn's usually always big and physical. It's a good program down there. So Olympia goes down there, takes care of business.
He's made that Olympia program a good program too.
Yes, absolutely.
Went there and had a lot of success.
Yeah, and hopefully it continues. Well, that's going to do it for us today on the Cheap Seats. I'd like to thank Coach Furkey and Coach Lyons for coming on with us. Railers down in Marion next Friday. Yeah, so for those of you that are going to make that trip, safe travels. And for those of us not making that trip, we'll be tuning in to WLCN on YouTube, hopefully. Yeah, we're good. We got a thumbs up. No hiccups there.
That's the way we like it, baby.
That's right. And that's going to do it for us today here on the Cheap Seats.
Good day.
This live video stream is made possible in part by WLCN's live stream technology sponsor, Me Realty, located at 602 Keokuk Street in Lincoln and online at merealty.com. This program is a presentation of WLCN 96.3 FM and WLCNonline.com.